Extreme here today. Today I'm going to take you through my basic lip technique. What I do as standard, I've got my makeup on, as you can see, I'm kind of ready to go. And lips tend to be the last thing that I do anyway when I'm doing my makeup. So today I've gone with a more pale makeup and foundation to go with the ginger wig. As you can see, without the lips being done, the whole sort of bottom half of the face is, in my case, it's really quite pale and you need that boldness. The lips really do tend to bring things together at the end and give you that overall look that you were going for in the first place. So I never feel complete unless I've got lipstick on, and I tend to go more bold rather than not. But if I talk you through what I would do as standard and give you an idea of the products that I use. Now, if you go on to places like MAC or Charlotte Tilbury or NYX, you will find all sorts of prep and prime type creams that you can apply to the lips, really as a foundation or a base to be moving on with as you are applying lip liner. They really help with getting lip liner to apply evenly and smoothly without kind of, pulling along the lip. And I always find that can be a bit difficult, trying to get a nice smooth application of lip liner. Now, I used to use one of those. I used one from MAC, but since that ran out, I've just moved on to using Vaseline. So I will start my lip technique by applying Vaseline to the bottom lip and the top lip. And all I'm really looking to do with the Vaseline is to get it to cover the lips, but I just want to get it in the kind of area where I'm going to be applying my lip liner. So don't go mental, but try and get it generally on the lips. And I find that helps as a good all-round kind of preparation for lip liners, lipsticks, etc. So simple tip, just use Vaseline. If you don't have anything else, you can use the main products. They're all good and they work really well. But I find Vaseline's every bit as good. So why spend more than you have to? Now, we're then on to two kind of territories. Next step is liner. So I've got four major liners that I use. I have my red, I have my very dark purple, I have my kind of purpley pink, and my pink. And I will use all of these. They're all by MAC. So the red is Kiss Me Quick, the purple is Night Moth, the purpley pink is Nightingale, and the pink is More to Love. So they're all by MAC. I really like MAC lip liners, they work very well. Today I'm going to set off this kind of look because it's quite pale. I'm not going to go for the red or any of the major sort of bold colours. I'll be going towards this lighter end with the pinks. So I'm going to go with Nightingale today. This is a kind of pinkish purpley shade, if I show you that, which is very nice, and it's pretty useful as a kind of in between pink and purple. I do find that once you've applied a strong pink lipstick, that this kind of blends in quite well. It does very well as a strong pink, even though it looks quite purpley. So I will tend to apply that as a thin or thick line, depending on what I'm going for. With this one, because I'm going to be colour matching, it doesn't really matter how thick it is, but I will apply that around the lip area. Now my lip can protrude slightly here, which means that I get this little section here, and I like to round out the bottom of my lip just to give it a more rounded, fuller shape. And I'm going to be lining, not on the lips themselves, I'm lining on the edge of the lip. So basically the lip itself will be where the lipstick is, the liner goes around the edge, and that helps give you a more defined, fuller shape. This is basically the easiest way to get a nice full shape that you can then fill in with your lipstick. So if I start by applying this, I'll just start with the areas I want to be most neat. So I'll start with the underlying area here and my Cupid's bow. So take a step back, have a look at it. See if you're happy with the overall symmetry of it. It's pretty symmetrical, but I'm going to do a bit more on this side here just to try and even this up. It's pretty even, pretty symmetrical. I've gone quite close to the line of my actual lips, but I can take that wider. If I wanted to, I could push that out even wider, and I could create a fuller, more enhanced lip. So if I take this kind of snapshot here, and maybe try and push this out a little bit more now, just to give you an idea how you can go a little bit further to define that and to really enhance those lips. Okay, so I pushed that out a little bit more now. Now, first thing I would say is that as you apply these kind of lip liners, the whole point of it is to stop your lipstick bleeding and to stop it running out into your makeup and to give you a really good, clear, defined line for the whole of the evening or the day or however long you're wearing it for. One of the problems with applying these lip liners is I often find that you get a bit of breaking, and what you'll get is some spotting. So if I get close, you might see how the line up close isn't as perfect as perhaps you would want it to be. So you can see there that I have some kind of edging on that, and I will then use a brush, a very fine brush, just to try and smooth that out and get exactly the perfect edges I want. So the kind of brush that I will use is this kind of very fine, thin brush. If I show you that. So you've got this nice sort of thin edge. It's a bit tapered, so it will create a nice sort of drawn on line. And the main thing just to do is make sure it's nice and clean. You know, if you've used it for anything else, you don't want to then mess up what you're doing with it. So make sure it's nice and clean. And then I will simply go back over those edges. Okay, so that's going to do for now. Now, the thing to bear in mind with your lips now is that you've got your outer area and you can now go about filling that in and making sure that you're happy with the shade you've got inside that. Now, if you were to go with a shade that was very similar to your liner, so this kind of color by MAC, which is called Slipper Orchid, this kind of pink will match up very nicely and will give me a kind of monotone, quite bold look. If you wanted to go lighter, you could simply go with something like this, which is a lip gloss. This gloss you can apply directly onto the lips. It's tinted, so it's going to give you a nice sort of pinky shine to it. And it's got a bit of plumping action, which kind of works. This makes your lip tingle a bit, really, I find. And this is called Ample Pink, which is a MAC gloss. Alternatively, you can try something like this. This is a slightly more vibrant coloured, little bit of sort of lilac in here, which is from NYX. I got this as part of a selection of metallic lip creams. This colour is Maui. So this is Maui by NYX. You can do your traditional lipsticks. So I have this colour here, which is a fuchsia colour. Again, sort of very traditional lipstick here, which works very well. It's really up to you what you're looking for. The main thing to bear in mind is that when you're actually applying colour, if you can apply a very matte, straightforward block of colour. You can highlight in the inside of the lips to create depth. So if you've got more shine, a lighter colour on the inside lips, that will create more depth, or the illusion of depth to your lips, which is great. You can do bold liners with lighter inside colours, which create this kind of very bold, pouty type look, which is excellent. Today, I figured what I would do is I would do a straightforward pink probably using this one from MAC, the Slipper Orchid colour, but then do a little bit of highlighting in the inside just to bolden that up, and then apply gloss on top. So if we apply this to the lips, what you can see straight away is it's a fairly good colour match. So there's our simple, straightforward, blocky colour. This gets quite drying, but since it fits so well and it's such a good, perfect blend, this now looks like a really good, bold, kind of seamless block of colour on the lips. And it sets off the face really well. I don't feel like my face is complete until I've got lipstick on, and I tend to find that a bolder lipstick really helps with bringing my face together. So I really prefer that. Now, in terms of what we can do next, in some of my previous videos I talked about applying to the face and to the eye areas. So I'm going to make my third use of exactly the same product. So if you invest in this once, you can use this product for multiple uses. So if I get my highlighter. So in my recent videos on foundation and on doing your eyes, I have mentioned using a highlighter product. And the one that I use is this Ultra Foundation from Kryolan. So you can see this colour. This colour is called Fair Olive. And what I like to do with this is I will use this a tiny, tiny amount just on the inside of my lips to create a slightly lighter colour before applying gloss. So all I will do with this is I'll take a little bit on my little finger, and I mean a tiny amount, like so, very small amount. And even now, be cautious and dab that onto the lip. You see, as soon as you do that, you have a white section. And I won't rub, I'll just keep dabbing. And it will pick up some of the pinks. And that will start to blend together into a lighter colour. What happens is if you rub, you can end up bringing it over different parts of your lip where you don't want it to be. So now all we have with this matte lipstick is a very slightly lighter section in the middle, which gives a little bit more depth. Just makes it slightly more interesting than if it was one solid block of colour. Now the last point is about gloss. To gloss or not to gloss. I mostly will gloss, particularly with pinks. I think pinks look great with a gloss. So if I'm applying a gloss on top of this, I will use one of 3 different products. The first one, this is MAC Lip Gloss. Now this product is, as you can see, very liquidy. It's running up and down in here. So it's a very loose product, and it's going to create a high shine, very high shine, but it's susceptible to pulling. Anything you do that can slightly move it, it's going to move around on your lips quite a lot. And if you apply too much, it can be very messy. And I find it quite a difficult product if you want to go out. If you're doing photos, something at home, if you're purely lounging around for a couple of hours and you're not too worried about what happens to your lipstick, then go for it. But if I'm going out, I wouldn't necessarily bother. If I were going out, I would use this style of lip gloss. And this is called Ice Follies. It's a crystal glaze gloss, which you can see is a cream. So it's much more of a cream style, which will not run as much. It is more durable and wearable for a night out. As soon as you put it onto this kind of lipstick, what it does is the gloss kind of mixes with the lipstick, picks up the pigments. And if you've done this kind of highlighting in the middle, you do have to be careful that you don't just end up blending all of that out and you get one solid colour again. So again, that's a problem with gloss. If you apply too much of it or you blend everything out, you're going to lose whatever you've done in terms of defining colour. One of the problems I find with gloss as well is that if I'm doing, let's say, a bold purple outline with a pinker inside, the gloss, you need to keep it on the inner pink area. Otherwise it picks up the purple, blends the two together, and you end up with something that wasn't what you intended. So gloss can ruin any hard work that you've done to create a distinctive style, whilst giving you that shine and shimmer that maybe you're looking for. The other thing you can try is this kind of product. This is from Rimmel. This is a Rimmel Lip Art product, and it's a liquid silvery lip gloss. Now, because this is a silver colour, you can see where I've used this. It's gone kind of pinky inside. Where I've used the wand directly on my lips, it's picked up the pigment, put it back in again, and it's now got a sort of pinky tinge to it that it didn't have in the first place. It was pure silver. But this is interesting because not only does it have the gloss and the shine, you can see the wand there, but it has this kind of silvery tone as well, which is very, very interesting for adding an extra dimension. Now, for today's purposes, I'm going to use this one, just for today's purposes. And as a tip, I always now apply it using the brush that I used for my lip liner. So just clean that off slightly. And I will take some of this lip gloss and apply it to the back of my hand. So instead of putting it on my lips, just put it on your hand. See how quite pinky it is now? But it still has that silvery shine to it. So I'll apply an amount of that to the back of my hand, like so. And then instead of applying it with the wand directly to the lips, I put it on the brush and then use that to apply to my lips. Now, one thing you'll find is that as you do this, or I light my lips, it's going to potentially remove some of that or blend it in. So I will try and start in the middle and then just work my way out. And if you keep more of the gloss in the middle of your lips, as I've done now, it's enhancing and sort of highlighting that lighter shade in the middle. Again, making your lips look fuller and giving them more depth. So if I stop here, I've now got lip gloss on, but it's only in the inner part of my lips. So it's again helping with that depth, helping to give a bit of dimension to my lips. So you can now apply this over the wider area of the lips, instead of just keeping it to the inner area. And the more you apply, so if I stop using this one, if I go on to, for example, this one instead, give you an idea of what that does. What you're effectively going to get is a more generic overall glossy lip. So if I'm applying this brush again into the product, basically trying to keep this as clean as I can so I can use it with multiple colours. Put it onto the hand again, like so, and then take that and just paint that on whatever you want it to be. So we're going to go a bit wider on this now and create just more an overall glossy lip. So, there you go. Big glossy lips. Now I've taken that almost up to touching basically the edge of that liner, because I did quite a thick amount of liner. The liner was probably about so thick, maybe 3mm thick on my lips. That means that I've got plenty of room to leave a dry area around the edge, but there's enough of the area on the inside for the gloss to really stand up and make it look like it's a whole overall glossy lip going right to the edge, when it really isn't, because the outer 2mm of this lip is entirely dry and gloss free. Now, simple case in point, if you were to apply this to your lips, having done the gloss, works it all around, stick it back into your gloss again, this is the problem you're going to have. So this has picked up all of that pigment from the lipstick. It's melded with the gloss. It's now got rid of, it's kind of blended out that white that we did. So it's now one overall block of colour again. So the white on the inside is gone, but because we've got the shine from the lip gloss itself, that's kind of mitigated that. So really it's up to you how you want to apply these things. When you go with gloss, it's going to get rid of any definition that you've done, particularly if you go over multiple colours, because gloss will blend all that together. As you can see, it will simply create one shade on your brush. Nothing you can do about that. The only other way to do this is if you get a coloured gloss, such as this pink. You apply your lip liner. You maybe apply a dark lipstick around the outside of the lips. And then, having put no pigment at all on the inside, go straight in with a lighter gloss. You can do that and use a lighter gloss just on the inside part of the lip here, top and bottom, just to create that separation. Bit of shine, bit of light colour in the inside, works very nicely. So that's what I kind of do with my lips. That's the general overall process that I go through. It's quite simple, quite quick, quite effective, doesn't take too long to get anything done. Obviously talking through stuff here takes a lot longer than it would do if you just slapped it straight on. But that gives you my rough overview of the different techniques that I use. Now, one tip I would say is that lots of stores like MAC, etc. will either sell packs where you can buy liners and lipsticks that are exactly the same shade. So for this red one, which is Kiss Me Quick, I had the exact same shade lipstick, and therefore I can get that perfect match between liner and lipstick. But it's nice to play around. It's fun to try different tones, different things, see what works. Experiment, have fun with it, see what goes well for you. Anyway, that's my tutorial to doing your lips. going through that with me today, give you an idea of how I do mine. Like I said, the basic is, I would advise, get a cheap liner brush in a pack of cheap brushes, £10 for 30 brushes, something like that. Try and get your hands on one of these. Get a liner of some description that you're happy with the colour. You can pick this up for probably £10, £12, something like that. And then get one good lipstick, whether you use one with a wand, this kind of liquid style, or whether you use the traditional lipsticks. You're probably looking for everything here, excluding obviously these brushes, which you can get as a big pack. You're probably looking at £20. Gloss, extras, £10, £15 here or there. You can take it to the next level. You can make use of your highlighting cream, as I mentioned earlier. So your highlighter, which you use for your up in your eyes and to highlight your face, is an ideal way of adding a different shade to a lipstick you've already got. Buy one lipstick, highlight it, and you can blend it. You can even blend lipstick and highlighter on your hand to create a different tone, and then apply that with the brush to your lips. There's all sorts of stuff you can play around at, because ultimately the face products, a lot of them have similar consistencies. So the consistency of what works for lipstick is quite similar to the consistency of what works for some of these creams. And provided you're using, let's say the majority of what you're doing is the product that's intended for that part of your face. So if you're using a blend of 80% lipstick and 20% highlighter, it's not going to make a scrap of difference to your lips. And if you can get a nice blend, get a nice unique colour, it's unique to you. And it's not something anyone else can buy in the shops because you put it together. You made it yourself. And it's interesting and fun to try and play around with these kind of things and have a bit of fun with it. So I'm putting together a whole list of instructional type videos that are available through YouTube, and I'm also doing links to those through my website. The idea being that I will kind of do a head to toe style overview of everything that I do, things I've picked up, tips, etc. Foundation, eyes, wig buying, wig selection, tips, shoes, clothing, shapewear, all that kind of stuff. Everything I can bring together, I'm putting that onto the website with written information about everything that I use. So basic recommendations, the things you need, such as one liner, one lipstick, and one brush, up to ways that you can do more complicated advanced things using glosses and highlighters and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to try and bring that together and see if I can pass on some of that stuff and make it a bit more helpful and useful to people. So thank you for joining me here today. If there's any comments, please let me know in the comment section down below. Look forward to hearing from everyone as usual. If you want to get a hold of me, you can do so through my email address, which is julietteisnoir@gmail.com, or through my website, julietnoir.uk. Feel free to like, share and subscribe to this video. Click the little bell to stay notified about upcoming videos that I'll be doing. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon. Thanks for joining me here today. And as ever, bye. Bye.